It was always clearly articulated. I mean, the Freedom Charter, Clause 4, deals with the land question. And the slogan of the African National Congress was always Maibuyi Africa. That was a call for the return of the land. The Freedom Charter, the Clause 4 of the Freedom Charter explains how that should be done. We are today having the Constitution as the supreme land law of the land, and it makes provision for radical reform of the land question. So all that is lacking is the will to give effect to the prescripts of the Constitution.
What would you say is the reason for that?
The decision to be indecisive, I think, is the reason for it. Because, you know, I find, I mean, I speak to people, you know, Dan Creek of the Agri-SA and so on. They are all willing that the land should be addressed, and that, you know, ordinary people must have equitable access to land. And those, of course, who, as a class of landowners, respond negatively, we must understand that, you know, they are driven by their class interests. And the struggle was waged on behalf of and in the name of and with the people. And so today you can't leave them out. It's unpardonable to do that.
So you have yourself become embroiled, not directly, but indirectly through the outcomes of the high-level panel that you chaired in this particular debate. And last week we saw King of Amazulu, Zwelithini, addressing his subjects about this matter. And it seems as though traditional leaders have taken a very dim view of what you are purported to have said in terms of calling them tin pot dictators who want to hold on to the land. So I have not heard you respond to that at all.
Yes, it is not necessary to respond because, you know, as Rudyard Kipling in his poem, If, there's a line where he says, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to set a trap for fools, you will be a man, my son. So it's misinformation. The recommendations of a high-level panel is that land must be given to the people, including people who live within the jurisdiction of traditional leaders. But they are now saying the recommendation is that land must be taken away from the people. Which land can be taken away from people who don't possess the land? The truth is the opposite, that land must be given to the people. And they know it, but as I said, it's a class response to the fact, and of course they are not going to the people themselves to say, no, we want this land to be given to ourselves, to your exclusion. You see, they have not conducted that kind of conversation with the people they purport to speak on behalf of.
So going forward as a nation, in the spirit of Nelson Mandela, what would you like to see happen to this country in the foreseeable future? You know, what should we embrace in order to get us closer to the promised land?
Well, we must understand that over and above our own individual interests or partisan interests, there are the interests of South Africans as a nation. And that's what we must pursue. And that these South Africans are talented people. We must find a way of opening up the space for them to come to the fore and make their contribution. They don't only have concerns and demands and complaints. They have wonderful suggestions, practical suggestions, as to how these problems can be resolved.
But are they heard? Are they given the space to participate, to contribute?
That's what we should strive to do, to ask ourselves the question, if this struggle that lasted for decades was waged in the name of the people, where are these people?
And who are these people?
And who are these people?
Because we often hear leaders talk about our people.
Yeah.
But who are these people?
Who are these people and where are they today?
And what can
shouldn't they be allowed to come to the fore?
And as the people, what can the people do to make themselves heard?
Well, unfortunately for now, I mean, people think that the only channels for their voice is through party politics. But, you know, once they understand, they can organize themselves. People form organizations for a purpose. If they want to be heard, they need to be organized.